Welcome to the Crazy Alchemist podcast, where alchemy, occultism, and strange history come alive.
In the Netherlands, she is called Witte Wieven. In Germany, Weiße Frauen. In the Czech lands, Bílá paní. In Ireland, Banshee. Across Serbia and Croatia, Vila. The languages differ, the names differ, but the figure is remarkably consistent. A woman in white, near burial mounds or castles or water, appearing at the boundary between worlds. She has been showing up in written records for at least 1,000 years and in oral tradition for far longer. The standard explanation is that she is a ghost of some wronged noblewoman. That covers about 10% of what she actually is. The Dutch tradition gives us the clearest clue. The Witte Wieven of the eastern Netherlands are spirits tied to ancient burial mounds. Megalithic dolmens scattered across the landscape, some built during the Neolithic, were said to be their homes. Farmers left bread and milk at the base of those stones. On cold mornings, when mist rose from the mounds, people said the Witte Wieven were emerging. The name holds a puzzle. In modern Dutch, Witte Wieven means white women, but scholars have argued the original meaning was wise women, from the Old Germanic root wid, related to English wit and wise. The two words, wit and wid, sound nearly identical in Low Saxon dialects. Over centuries of folk etymology, the wise women became white women. If that etymology is correct, these were not random ghosts. They were spirits of deceased healers, herbalists, and seers who continued to be honored at their graves. Jacob Grimm traced them further. In his Deutsche Mythology, he connected the Witte Wieven to the Disir, the female ancestral spirits of Norse tradition. He argued they represented something far older than medieval ghost stories. They appeared in groups of 3. They helped with harvests and with the births of children. They punished those who disrespected them. That combination of helpful and dangerous is characteristic of divine figures. Behind the white ladies of the German-speaking world stand 2 figures the Church spent centuries trying to destroy, Perchta and Holda. Perchta takes her name from Old High German beracht, meaning bright or shining. She has 2 faces. As the beautiful Perchta, she appears as a young woman in white. As the ugly Perchta, she is a haggard old woman with bright eyes and a hooked nose. This is not a contradiction. It reflects the seasonal cycle. Her domain is spinning. During the 12 nights between Christmas and Epiphany, Perchta inspects households. If girls have not finished their spinning, she slits the offender's belly open and stuffs it with straw and rocks. On those same nights, she leads women through the sky on distaffs, the wooden sticks used in spinning, which later became associated with witches' brooms. Holda fills the same role in the north. Her dwelling is the Hörselberg, which later became identified with the Venusberg in Wagner's Tannhäuser. Grimm himself said the connection between Venus and the German goddess Holda was placed beyond question. Like Perchta, she punishes lazy spinners and rewards diligent ones. She also leads the wild hunt. The Church fought hard against both figures. The Canon Episcopi, compiled around 906, condemned women who claimed to ride at night with Diana. A century later, Burchard of Worms updated this condemnation, adding the name Holda alongside Herodias as leader of these processions. By 1468, Bavarian law explicitly outlawed the cult of Frau Percht. Grimm believed the white ladies are goddesses, trapped between worlds by a religious transformation that could suppress their worship but could not erase their memory. The Norse sources give us the most vivid literary portrait. The Disir are female ancestral spirits associated with fate who could protect or destroy their kin. They received formal sacrifices at the Dísablot, a seasonal ritual documented in several sagas. The most striking passage comes from Thedronda Thotra. A young man named Thedrondi goes outside at night and sees 9 women in black riding toward him with drawn swords, and 9 women in white riding from the opposite direction. The black-clad women attack and kill him before the white ones can reach him. The story is read as a metaphor for the conflict between paganism and Christianity, but it preserves a belief system in which white-clad female spirits are protective ancestors. This color system runs throughout the tradition. The Czech Bílá paní wore white gloves for good news and black gloves before a death. The Banshee keens only when death is coming. White signals benevolence, black signals danger. An even older layer appears in the Merseburg incantations, the earliest surviving Old High German text to preserve pagan belief. It describes the Idisi, female beings who bind and release warriors on the battlefield. The Idisi are linguistically related to the Norse Disir. Grimm linked them directly to the White Ladies. The chain runs from the Matronae of the Roman-era Rhineland inscriptions through the Idisi, through the Disir, through the White Ladies of medieval legend. Female beings who control fate and appear in groups wearing white. In the South Slavic world, the woman in white takes a different form. She is the Vila. F.S. Copeland, writing in the Folklore journal in 1931, translated Slovenian Vile directly as white ladies. He described them as wise beings from forests, water, and mountains who help women in childbirth and heroes in epic stories. They advise on plowing times and harvest. They guard the sacred realm of Zlatarog on Mount Triglav. But the Vila has a darker face. Dorian Jurich's scholarly work divides her into 3 types. Mountain Vilas roam on stags and will kill a man who defies them. Water Vilas drown young men who bathe while the Vilas dance. Cloud Vilas cause storms and whirlwinds, riding through the night sky with eagles. The most dangerous encounter is stumbling upon their kolo, their circle dance. The fairy rings in Balkan meadows marked places where Vilas danced. A man who enters the circle cannot stop. He dances until he dies. Yet the Vila could also be an ally. In Serbian epic poetry, many heroes have a Vila as a blood sister. Marko Kraljevic, the greatest hero of the tradition, had a Vila foster mother who nursed him and gave him supernatural strength. Heinrich Heine retold this tradition in 1835, describing the wheelies as brides who died before their wedding day, rising at midnight to dance men to death. Théophile Gautier read Heine and created the ballet Giselle, which premiered in Paris in 1841. The core image of dead women in white dancing in a moonlit clearing is a direct descendant of the South Slavic Vila. The Irish Banshee, the Banshee, connects the tradition to burial mounds. She is associated with keening, the ritualized wailing that was part of Irish burial rites. The keening woman was a real social role. Whether the Banshee descends from these real women or the real women imitated the spirit is an open question. The Banshee, the Rusalka, the Vila, and the mermaid all share one habit. They comb their hair. Patricia Litsath studied this motif across Celtic and Slavic traditions. Russian Rusalki comb with combs of gold, silver, bone, and fish skeleton. The Irish Banshee can only keen while combing. Scottish girls were warned against combing while brothers were at sea, lest the act summon storms. Not all white ladies are mythological. 2 historical cases show how real suffering was absorbed into the tradition. Perchta of Rosenberg, born around 1429, was married off to Jan von Liechtenstein of Mykolaiv. Her husband expected a large dowry. When it did not arrive, she became an unwanted burden. 92 of her letters survive in the archives at Trebon, documenting her desperation. She wrote that death seemed preferable. Since the 17th century, her ghost has been reported at castles across South Bohemia. She appears in white with a cone-shaped hat. White gloves mean good fortune, black gloves mean death. The name Perchta connects this real Czech noblewoman to the Alpine goddess, historical biography fused with ancient myth in a way neither side can fully explain. What makes the woman in white genuinely strange is finding the same figure where direct cultural transmission is hard to argue. The Aztec goddess Cihuacoatl walked through Tenochtitlan at night, weeping for her children and foretelling war. She wore white. She was tied to dead children. When the Spanish arrived, they brought their own white lady traditions. The two fused into La Llorona. Further back, the Mesopotamian Ardat Lili, attested from the 3rd millennium BCE, is a ghost of a young woman who died before marriage. She appears at night. She is dangerous to men. This is nearly identical to the Vila tradition, to the Slovak fairy tradition, to the Bulgarian Samodivi. The Japanese Yurei appears in a white burial kimono. The Indian Churel is the spirit of a woman who died in childbirth. The pattern appears on every inhabited continent, a female spirit in white, dead through injustice, appearing at night, dangerous to the living. Is this the same human experiences producing the same response independently across cultures, or something older, a deep structure in human psychology? Both readings have evidence. Neither is complete. We do not fully understand why a woman in white weeping at night by water appears in Mesopotamian tablets, Norse sagas, Balkan epic poetry, Aztec codices, and Japanese folklore. The pattern is there, and it is very old. She has been appearing for 5,000 years at minimum, at castle gates and forest edges and bridges and wells, and she has not stopped. If you enjoyed this journey through the woman in white tradition, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment with your own local white lady legend, and check the link in the description for the full article with sources and cross-references to our bestiary entry. Until next time.
If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to visit crazyalchemist.com for more intriguing content and follow Crazy Alchemist on Instagram and Facebook to stay connected.